So welcome to Conversations with the County Executive. I'm Amy Downs, Director of Communications for the county, and here today again with County Executive Rich Fitzgerald. And today we're talking municipalities. So fun fact, Allegheny County has the second highest number of municipalities behind just Cook County. So exactly how many are there in Allegheny County?
We have 130 individual municipalities, meaning 130 councils, mayors, police departments, et cetera, which makes it obviously challenging for a community with a lot of disparity, quite frankly. And you've got some fairly large municipalities, obviously the city of Pittsburgh being by far the biggest, with 300,000 people, all the way down to some that have less than 1,000 people in their municipality. So you have some at 30,000, some at 20,000, et cetera, and it becomes challenging, but it's about working together.
So as county executive, you work with all of those entities on an ongoing basis. What do you think is the benefit of having that number of municipalities?
Well, I think the benefit would be that people in those communities probably know on a first-hand basis their mayor, their council members, et cetera. They probably run into them at the store. They maybe go to the church with them. They may live in their neighborhood. So there is that closer to the community type of thing that can happen. You know, if you live in a really big city somewhere where you've only, you know, it's 1 million people, a municipality, not many people are going to know the mayor on a first-hand basis or know their council person on a first-hand basis. So that could be one of the benefits.
So the municipalities interact and intersect with the county on a number of ways, and probably every department that we have. But I'm going to focus on just 3 of them today because I think those are probably the largest ones, are the ones that people see the most. Let's talk economic development first. Economic development has a series of programs and opportunities that are available for municipalities like Allegheny Together and the Allegheny Grows programs. What type of programs are out there to help municipalities through economic development?
Well, those are just some of the programs that are there, but really on a broader standpoint, it's the really working together with our partners at the state and federal government, just in the governmental sector. So, yes, we work with all the municipalities when it comes to an economic development strategy because, number one, we want to grow jobs and economic growth in every community and certainly in the region. So when a company is looking to expand or looking to move into this region, and we can find that a certain municipality makes a lot of sense, we want to work with them to help it benefit them, benefit their business community, benefit their residents, jobs, the youth, everything involved in that community. But yes, we also have certain programs to like Alleghenies Together, things that we've done around trails and connectivity that kind of fall under economic development. But you know, we want to make sure that the business district is thriving, and there are programs along those lines to make that happen.
So the next one is really public works. Public works, often people just think of the department as being somebody that just paves roads or clears them, but there's so many other ways that our public works department intersects with local municipalities. And I'm sure you've taken a number of those calls, or municipalities have needed help. So what are the types of things that we get asked for help for?
Oftentimes, almost every winter, we run into a situation where a municipality might not have enough salt. For example, something as simple as that when a big snowstorm hits, and which the county over the years has had to, lend out or provide, those type of materials to a municipality. Street sweepers, catch basin cleaning, hillside remediation, landslide things that occur. So while they may occur in a municipal road versus a county road versus a state road, we all kind of have to work together on when those things occur. And I think of some of the more major ones that occurred in this region over the last number of years. The collapse on Route 30 a number of years ago, I think it was in 2018, that occurred between East Pittsburgh and North Braddock. 30,000 cars a day come across Route 30 coming into and out of the city of Pittsburgh. We were very helpful with working with PennDOT and working with our municipal partners along those lines. People recall the Fernholder Bridge incident of a little over a year ago. And again, while it was a city of Pittsburgh, facility and structure, we were very, very helpful in working with all the partners that need to play a role. So our Public Works Department spends a lot of time working in collaboration, whether it's with agility agreements, snow removal and road paving and things along those lines. So there is a lot of collaboration that occurs. A lot of it behind the scenes that the public doesn't necessarily see. They may see the end result, but they may not see the working behind the scenes that happens to make that successful.
Let's switch to county police department for a second. A lot of people think county police and they see county police at the airports or potentially, on county properties. But
Right.
A few years ago, you made a decision to essentially pull police from the county parks where they had been deployed for a long time to put them to use in a different way. What was that about?
Well, there's a couple things. Number one, our parks are really a recreational place. It's a place for people to come and observe nature. And, while we certainly use the county police in our parks for big events, like our big concerts, when it comes to you have 5, 6, 7,000 people there, obviously you got to have some control of traffic and crowd and that type of thing. But for the most part, we wanted the people that interact with people in the parks not to be necessarily law enforcement and police, but rangers. People that would be ambassadors of the nature, the type of plant and vegetation that we have, the type of animals that are roaming in our parks and that type of thing. So we also thought by moving our police into the municipalities more closely, they could do what I would consider more important police work when it comes to things like drug related offenses, sexual offense, trafficking type offenses. So investigative work that could help make public safety in the communities better. So I think it brought a better interaction with some of our communities. Now, we do know that there are challenges in these municipalities that may not have the tax base to provide the type of public safety that they would like. And some have the tax base to do it, and some don't. So there's assistance that we can provide, we meaning the county police, that have been able to help and assist in some of those areas.
So since you brought up that topic, let's talk a little bit about an initiative that you undertook with the IOP and some former county executives as well to really talk about how we provide solutions and resources to those municipalities. What is that proposal?
Well, it was an issue that we thought could allow, we called it voluntary disincorporation. It was some legislation that we worked on in Harrisburg and had a lot of support and probably will have another chance to be instituted, because many of the municipalities that have had, I'll call it the deindustrialization that has occurred over the last 30 to 40 years, has taken a tax base away from some of these communities. And in taking that tax base away, they don't have the ability to provide as many police officers, the pay that this needs to happen with public safety personnel, the road paving, the basic quality of life services that municipalities want to have. So a voluntary disincorporation would allow a community, if they want to, by voluntary basis, and I use the word voluntary as a strong word, by referendum, that if they wanted to then become part of the county government, so that the county government would not only collect their revenues but also provide the services, the park services, the public work services, the police services, et cetera.
So what's the status of that legislation right now?
We understand that the legislation is moving forward in Harrisburg. It's strictly for Allegheny County. It doesn't really affect any other county, any other 67 counties in the Commonwealth. I was delighted that a couple years ago when the Senate took it up, it passed 49-0. It passed unanimously. It had a lot of support in the House. It just didn't come up for a vote. And hopefully during this session they'll be able to move it.
You talked about one of the challenges for the local municipalities being police, of course. In the past, the county police has actually provided support and services to local municipalities, but we also have a police academy that's been in place for 50 years. And I think that in your last 12 years, you've probably attended 95% of those graduations. What's the importance of having a resource like that in our community? The
Police Academy really does provide the basic level of training that new recruits come in and learn. And many of the municipal officers that serve our 130 municipalities and serve as county police officers and other, it could be university police officers, et cetera, have gone through that training, and the training has been very, very successful and very helpful to give, again, new recruits to the law enforcement a base level of operation and understanding of what they need to do to operate. So again, that's one of the kind of the unsung departments and unsung activities that the county gets involved with that really benefits the entire community more broadly than just working for county employees. It actually affects municipal employees as well.
I want to talk about just two other organizations that are also involved with municipalities and that the county has supported over the last 20, 30, 40 years in some cases. The first one is the Allegheny League of Municipalities, a nonprofit organization intended to really bring municipalities together on issues that impact all of them. A few years ago, actually 12 years ago, your first year, we launched a Banner Communities program with the Allegheny League of Municipalities. Can you tell me a little bit about that program and what it does?
Yeah, the League of Municipalities, which gets together on a regular basis, the biggest one being the spring conference that they have in Seven Springs and have had, as you said, for decades. It brings people together and it puts on sessions regarding things that really get into the nitty-gritty of governing, whether it be infrastructure, whether it be budgeting, whether it be bond issuance, debt, all the things that, the nuts and bolts of running local government. People get elected and maybe have some great ideas, but, are they implementable? Are they realistic? Are they doable by law and some other state law and some other things along those lines? So one of the things we also wanted to institute, as you mentioned, the Banner Communities, and what we wanted to do was provide a little bit of recognition for municipalities that involve in best practices, and a lot of those best practices involve in collaboration with their neighbors. Because for the most part, most of us don't just live in one of those 130 municipalities and never leave it. Our neighbors matter to us. We may work in a different municipality. Our kids may go to school in a different municipality. I'm sure we have family members in all these other municipalities. So how we do together matters. So if a municipality A doesn't interact with all their friends, whether it comes to sewer work, road work, economic development, public safety, all the things that really matter to us, it's not going to be successful. So the Banner Communities is really about best practices around, collaboration, transparency, all the things that we like to see in government. And my understanding is at this point, maybe more than half of the municipalities have participated in the program and have been awarded the Best Practices Banner Communities initiative. And again, it goes together, whether it's the League of Municipalities, the Local Government Academy, which is another organization that we want to support that does some sessions to promote best practices, and then Connect. Connect is another organization of different municipalities. Connect meaning we're all connected together, and they work together again on these issues that, when the storm comes and the flooding occurs, it doesn't stop at the municipal line. It's going to go where it's going to go. Those communities need to work together to help alleviate, some of those challenges that we deal with.
Local Government Academy is actually the last one that I wanted to touch on. I think that you were actually a student of the newly elected officials course back when you were first elected to county council back in 1999. What's the importance of a program like the NEOC?
It does a couple of things. Number one, you really get to ask people that have been there before, experience, when it comes to whether it become an emergency that could happen if, let's say, a road or a bridge collapses in your community or needs to be shut down. How do you get the money to pay for that? How do you bond it? How do you go to the state? How do you go to the feds? Whatever it might be. So you really do learn a lot from the instructors who put on various sessions, whether it be around infrastructure or public safety or finance or whatever it might be. And then the other thing is you really do get to interact with your peers. The mayor of this town and the mayor of two towns together can kind of compare notes, or council members from various towns can compare notes. So as a newly elected county council member back in '99, going to that session and learning people that I didn't know, maybe I hadn't met in the campaign or hadn't been part of a campaign, or they weren't in the district that I ran in, to get to know what their challenges are and what their best practices and things that you can learn. So we always can learn from our peers, learn what to do, and obviously learn what not to do. And I think the Local Government Academy, when they bring those folks together and have those sessions, people really do benefit from that, and we all benefit as a region. I think it is the working together, and the one thing that I've noticed again with local government officials is the working together is not partisan. You know, when you need to fix the sewer line that connects both communities, there's not a Democratic way or a Republican way to do that. There's not a Democratic way or a Republican way to fix the bridge or the road or deal with a landslide. And you do see a lot of collaboration that occurs. And that's really, you know, we know, you know, the best way to move forward together, to move forward positively, is when we do it together. And we see that whether it's in economic development, whether it's in public safety, whether it's in transportation, all the things that we all care about, and again, quality of life for our families and our children and our grandchildren. And I think that's the thing that I've learned in my 24 years in government that makes makes success.
Thank you for joining us for Conversations with the County Executive. Please come back again for future episodes, and for any information about everything that the county is and will be doing, visit AlleghenyCounty.us.